Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. There we go. I never miss opening bell. So today, last Friday before Christmas, what should we expect the next couple days, and what should we expect in 2023? So I'm going to summarize it for you guys in today's stream. And happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. So let's get started. Well, unfortunately, Santa rally is still not here for U.S. markets. It did look like it was going to turn green this morning. And then, of course, we flipped to the red. It just seems like investors are just selling off right now by the billions. And I think, have an explanation for it, even though it may not be a good one. But I do think this explanation makes sense. So let me share with you what that is. But I did want to cover this first because I think CNBC is not paying attention to this. This is actually pretty good news. But maybe inflation data is not so looked at anymore because we know that Fed Chair Powell is starting to turn more dovish and starting to cut his rate hikes. But we did get another inflation data reading this morning, PCE, and it shows that inflation is going down. We dropped from 6.1% to 5.5% year to year in November. That's terrific. That's fantastic. PCE is actually what Fed Chair Powell looks at more than CPI. And it does show that inflation is starting to come down. And in January, when we do look at inflation CPI for December, I'm pretty sure it's going to show the same thing, that it's still moving down. And that's terrific. But again, I don't even see this posted on CNBC. It's like they think this is not important news anymore, right? But the next FOMC meeting will be February. So we do have a full month that we don't have to worry about Fed Chair Powell, right? But of course, this is still important because people are still wondering what's going to happen in 2023. What's going to happen with the recession? Are we going to get into deeper recession? Is it going to be a long climb back, or is it a mild recession? You don't know. But what we do know is this. 2022 has been an absolutely horrible, horrible year. Stocks see double-digit losses. That's if you're not in tech. If you're in tech, you're seeing almost triple digits, which doesn't even make sense because then it'll be at zero. But we have seen stocks like Tesla get hammered, down 70%. Facebook get hammered. Amazon get hammered, right? We have seen a lot of big tech get hammered. And, of course, we saw Bitcoin get hammered and Ethereum get hammered and everything else, right? And the explanation I was saying just not too long ago, saying this makes sense. Bank of America is now reporting that equity funds are receiving the largest outflows they have ever seen, right? Why right now? Well, according to them, it's because of tax loss harvesting. They believe tax loss harvesting is happening right now, which is a strategy that involves selling assets at a loss to offset capital gains, right? So there are a lot of fund managers that are probably doing this right now. A lot of investors probably doing this right now. I think some of you guys know that already. I've been telling you guys, one way to take advantage of your losses in 2023 or 2022 is to utilize tax loss harvesting and wash trading, because in crypto, wash trading is still legal. Okay, this is the U.S. So unlike stocks where you have to wait 30 days before you buy back in, you don't have to with crypto. You can sell and buy back in like right away, like immediately afterwards, right? So it is something that a lot of people are looking at right now, and just keep that in mind if you want to take advantage, right? So this could be the reason why we keep seeing these sell-offs, this brutal sell-off. Santa rally basically has been canceled. For crypto, maybe not yet, because we still have 2 more days, right? Crypto's 24/7. We don't have to worry about market closes like like stocks, right? So we still have a chance, small tiny chance in 2 days that we get a significant rally. But as for now, 2022 has, I don't know. It's just been a bad year, right? With all the geopolitical stuff, macro stuff, all the crypto stuff, the collapses, everything has happened. It's been a bad year. All right. Moving forward, what else is there? Facebook, Meta agrees to pay $725 million to settle this privacy lawsuit. This involves the Cambridge Analytica, which they allowed this analytics company to take third-party data without consent and use that to possibly rig the elections to the U.S. president election two terms ago. So nearing $750 million. That's quite a lot. As for FTX news, this is getting complicated. There are basically two people going after Robinhood Shares right now. SBF himself and BlockFi. Now, BlockFi is interesting because BlockFi said that the reason why they loaned out a whole bunch to Alameda is because Caroline put down the Robinhood shares as collateral. So BlockFi is arguing that 7.6% stake they have belongs to them. They actually have that in writing, that Caroline put that down as collateral for the loan that they took out. So BlockFi has been trying to get after it. But here's the thing. Did Caroline have authority to do that? Because it turns out the shares are owned by another company called Emergent that's owned 90% by SBF himself. So now SBF also has been on record been trying to claw back those shares for whatever reason. So it's getting real complicated over the 7.6% stake. And the new CEO of FTX is telling Robinhood or telling courts to freeze these shares and not distribute them. But you know, where is it going to go eventually? Are they going to be sold off, given back to the creditors or not? Or are they going to be given to BlockFi, right? I don't know. And if it was given back to BlockFi, or if they were given to BlockFi and BlockFi sells it, is that enough to prevent them from going into bankruptcy, right? I don't know. But yeah, this whole thing is still very, very, very confusing. Of course, I did report on them last night. About the $250 million bail, right? Still very, very suspicious. Everyone's still talking about it. What did Caroline and Gary, you know, what's their plea agreement? What did they agree to? You know, there's just still a lot of stuff going on. And you know what? It gets more complicated because it turns out, well, we already knew this, but SBF, before they collapsed, they were lobbying like crazy, right? So the top guy at the SEC, the top general counsel, steps down because it turned out back in the day, he was having some expensive dinners with SBF. And it wasn't just him alone. A lot of people from the CFTC and SEC also had some expensive dinners with SBF. So SBF was lobbying left and right, okay? He was getting what he wanted. And all these guys now are starting to feel the heat. So this guy just stepped down, didn't reveal why he stepped down, probably because of this connection, right? What about Gary himself? What about the CFTC guys, right? They're all probably feeling the heat right now. So it's just very, very, it's all connected. Even the judge that gave SBF, bail, she's connected too. She's married to one of the partners of the firm that helped FTX in a business deal. Ooh, I'm drawing a blank. I just covered this last night. Some kind of big business deal that FTX did. So, I mean, even the judge is somehow connected to this. I mean, it's just, man, this thing is wild. It's wild. It's like cancer. You just don't know. It's like spread to everywhere, right? Anyways, moving on. Let's talk about Bitcoin in 2023. Well, here's a shocking thing. And this is a really good example of, I guess, decentralized versus centralized, okay? Since Bitcoin's inception till now, the market cap is around 325 billion, but obviously it was much bigger before, right? But if you're looking at employees, even though Bitcoin doesn't have employees, just core developers, but roughly there's around 60 core developers, okay? But if you look at, well, like someone like Visa or MasterCard or PayPal, you look at where their market cap is and look at how many employees they have, right? Very, very different. So this is comparing a decentralized network versus centralized networks that aren't all that efficient, right? So this is quite amazing if you think about it. Bitcoin has only been around for about 13 years, really 12 years if you think about it. And it has grown tremendously in size with very, very, very little people supporting the network. It goes to show you how well designed Bitcoin is by Satoshi, and overall the number of supporters that continue to support continues to grow and still develop. So all fantastic things. And it's not just Bitcoin. Here's an interesting one in terms of stable coins, right? Stable coins right now have way more transactions in terms of volume of transactions, like money settled, right, or money transferred. So right now, stable coins settle about $7 trillion, could go as high as $9 trillion, and that compared to, say, MasterCard 2 or Amex at $1 trillion, Discover at 200 billion, right? So stable coins arguably are already bigger than some of the biggest credit cards and financial institutions we have today, right? So it's not just Bitcoin. Overall, the whole ecosystem is just growing by leaps and bounds, and it's just unstoppable at this point. And that leads me to this. I've shown so many like this before, so I know this is probably less impactful, but nevertheless, it's important to recognize that Bitcoin is following the same footsteps it has before, with all these cycles since it came out, these 4-year cycles, these tops and bottoms, right? And history doesn't always repeat, but it tends to rhyme. And you can see how it has been rhyming. And that is why I'm very, very, very hopeful in 2023 that Bitcoin will make significant moves upwards. Possibly, no, I would say not back to previous highs, but we could definitely see a good recovery up 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. And then as we head into 2024, that is when we will break through our previous high and move further. But if history is on our side and previous, I don't know, yeah, let's just say if history is on our side, then we have a lot to look forward to in 2023 and 2024 and beyond. Okay, so stay strong, my friends. Even though Santa Rally may not be here, okay, that doesn't mean that we should give up. You know, Santa takes a break every year or 4 years. Sometimes he does take a break when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto, but he always comes back stronger than ever. All right, and then last few things, I did see this, you know, Cardano Whales. Even though Cardano has been weak, Cardano Whales, they're pesky whales. They don't go away, so they keep accumulating. Addresses with 10,000 to 100,000 ADA, now hold their largest percent of supply in a year and a half. Look at that. That's a crazy jump right there. Crazy jump. So Cardano Whales not going away. And not only that, they are buying and buying and buying and buying. And there's a lot of metrics like this. I could pull this up for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for Cardano, for Polygon, for BNB. They're all showing the same thing. The big money, the big whales, they are all stocking up in anticipation of better times, which I believe is in the second half of 2023. All right, and then lastly, I think that's it. Not a whole lot of news this morning. Yeah, there is a severe weather storm right now. FedEx, UPS warned severe weather could delay holiday packages. So if you're waiting for a Christmas present, it may be delayed. As for Bitcoin, it's about the same spot as yesterday, 16.8. It was a little bit higher, but then the U.S. market is pulling it down. We'll see where the market ends up today. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, let me scroll up here. Alex, happy holidays to you, my friend, as well. Santa goes vegan. All right. I lost at poker last night, trying to claw back the money now. Let's see. Patience is the key to crypto, Mari. That is exactly right. I work at UPS, according to Robert, and we've been really low on volume this peak season. You know what? It kind of shows you. Consumer spending is down. Down, down, down. Hey, look at this headline right here. Bitcoin lost 60% of its value. How far 6 other popular cryptocurrencies lost? Terra, 100%. Why do you have to throw Terra in there? We know that's just, black guy at this point. Solana down 93%. AMP down 93%. Cardano down 80%. Ether 67%. Bitcoin 63%. And Doge at 50%. Wow. So, Doge actually was the least loser of the 7. But Bitcoin is having a better year than Tesla. Tesla, I think, hit 70%. Or maybe it was 60%. 60 or 70%. Speaking of which, I want to know where Tesla is today. Man, Tesla went down even more. Another 52-week low, 121. Wow. There's just no end in sight to their current sell-off. D. Lee, I appreciate that. B13SR, that's quite funny. That's quite funny. What card do you have? What's going to happen if there's a big magnetic storm and stops the internet? Is BTC going to survive then? Yes, yes it will. Did you see a few weeks ago there's a disagreement, I think, with the FCA and the UK government? I did not see that. I did not see that. FSD is full sell-off diving. I actually just got an update on my Tesla, but it's stored away for the winter, so I can't test it out. I'm hoping that they keep updating it, so by the time I actually drive it next year, it'll be perfect. Lazaro, Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you. Tesla is still a great company, but it was overvalued. I agree. I've been arguing with my friend about how overvalued it is since 2019, basically. Merry Christmas to you as well, and Happy New Year. Although, we still have 1 week after Christmas before the new year starts, so we'll see. The year is not over yet. And Doge 256 and Rollcore, Merry Christmas to you guys as well. $301 Spartan. Appreciate it. Keep holding like a true Spartan. Man, I'm losing my voice. Okay, I think I'm better now. Hopefully I'm not getting sick before Christmas. But 301 Spartan, or 301st Spartan. Appreciate that, and Merry Christmas to you too. Stay strong. Do I use futures or just isolate cross margin? No, I used them in the past, but I've tried the leveraged coins, like the 3x coins. They're a total scam. The longer you hold them, the more you lose. So don't ever buy those like leverage tokens. And then as for futures, just, I play with it on KuCoin, play with it on Mexi a little bit before. Just a really fast way for you to lose your money. So leverage has not worked out for me, and I don't think it works out for anyone. I think it just destroys everyone in the end. The only people that benefit with futures are the exchanges, the ones that's collecting the fees. Whether you win or not, they collect the fees. Do you think we need to stop thinking Tesla as a car company, solar, robots, energy storage is part of their plan? Yeah, but right now, no one buys any of those things except cars, right? Eventually, they could be thought of something else. But, I'll give you an example. Their energy storage and solar, they dominate the solar space. So if you're looking to get like solar panels for your for your house, it's going to be like solar panels, right? But here's the thing. When you add in their battery pack, then it makes the cost so high that you never recoup the energy savings. I've looked at this before. Each one of their battery packs is like, I think $20,000. So to store enough energy to support your home for a day, of course, it depends on how big your home is. You may need like 2 to 4 battery packs. Okay, that's just to have enough energy storage for one day. Forget about if you want to store it for like 3 days or a week. But let's say at a bare minimum you get 2. That's 40,000, and then you put on top of that you need at least another 40,000 in solar panels, right? So then you're talking about $80,000. Okay, so $80,000. Then you don't need to spend money on electricity anymore, but your electric bill being what? $100, $150, you do the math. How long is it going to take for you to recoup? So for people that want to recoup fast, basically you don't get the energy storage cells. You just get the solar panel. So now you're down to 40,000 instead of 80,000, right? And that's more feasible. But that's the thing. It's like I don't see why anyone buys those storage batteries for their homes, unless you just want to be a Tesla supporter. Okay, then fine, and you could show people your cool batteries. But you know, from a I guess investment standpoint, it's horrible. You'll never get that back. I know people that got free Tesla solar panels. I know there's big incentives. There's big incentives out there, like federal tax credits and state tax credits, but they don't pay for everything anymore. Maybe back in the day they did, but now they don't pay for everything. Those solar panels and battery packs increase home values, though. I don't know about that. Every home I've seen with solar panels on the roof turns me off because they look very ugly indeed. So I think the best thing to do is to put it on the back of the house and back of the roof so you can't even cover it fully. These solar panels just look ugly, and I don't believe that they actually increase the value in the homes. Eventually you have to service them, and it's going to be arm and leg, right? And you can't replace shingles the same way you did before, because you have to remove the solar panels first. So I don't think it's, again, I don't think it's, I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it. Chicago Brew, that would be crazy. First of all, for Elon to even know me, that would be nice. But if he made me Twitter CEO, I don't know what I would do. You know, if you wanted a battery backup, right? Like if you were worried about you know, power outages and stuff like that, you get a generator. But you don't get a gas one. You don't get a gas one or a diesel one. You get a natural gas one. I think it was quoted like $8,000 or something. Okay? It automatically kicks in when you have a power outage. And it uses natural gas, so you never have to worry about going out and you know, sourcing fuel for it. And it powers your whole house for as long as you want. And you could get that for like $8,000. Versus $20,000 for a single Tesla batteries pack, right? Which doesn't even have enough energy to store one full day of energy usage. So if you look at it that way, right? Just get the power generator. Everyone should be getting a power generator instead of those Tesla cells. If there's a zombie apocalypse, houses with solar panels will be first targets. I guess. I guess, yeah. So that's a negative towards solar panels. I mean, how often does your natural gas get shut off? Does anyone even recall a time when their natural gas gets shut off? Because if that happens, you have worse problems, because then your furnace stops working, your oven stops working. But I don't recall in my entire life ever staying in a house where we had a natural gas outage. Ever. Is there going to be a stream tomorrow to discuss things of the past year? Probably not. Probably not. Unless there's some big news. Probably go opt out of streaming tomorrow. I did tease that I may do like a random stream about random stuff on my other channel, I Am George. I may do that at night, but probably not going to stream tomorrow or Sunday, obviously. But I'll try to put out at least a video if I don't stream. Is it a good time to nibble on Tesla? I've been saying that for a while. I'm even tempted to buy some Tesla at these levels, but, you know, I charted it out, and looking at the PE ratio, Tesla could fall easily to like $70 or $80 and still not be considered cheap. You know, that's what I'm afraid of. But it does seem like the sell-off has slowed down. Elon said he was not going to sell any more shares for 2 years. Whether or not that's truthful, we don't know. He may be forced to sell more if he gets margin called. So we don't know at this point. Hopefully that's not the case. By the way, I watched Avatar last night. It was actually pretty good. Pretty good. Long, but good. Relaxing sleep sounds. I sent you an email. Okay. Don't catch a falling knife. Wait and see what happens. Well, I mean, that's been a model of 2022, right? Not just for Tesla, but for crypto, for Bitcoin, for everything. No one knows where bottom is. And you could argue don't try to catch a falling knife. But again, you don't know where it falls to. So if you truly believe in something, you DCA into it. I know a lot of Tesla people are freaking out because they have never experienced this before. They have never experienced this before. I mean, this drop is brutal, right? Bitcoin people have experienced this before, but Tesla people have never. So many panic sold, and they panic sold even more recently because, you know, they had the luxury of just sitting on it and seeing nothing but ups for the last 3-4 years. And so many are panicking right now. But, I mean, this is the time to be DCAing. This is the time to be really you know, cost averaging if you really believe in Tesla and you hold a lot of Tesla shares. But I did draw out a couple lines. These are our next support levels. It continues to drop. The one that I'm probably thinking is going to hit, possibly even today, is this 118 one. And then after that, 109, 191. Hopefully it doesn't fall to 91, but it could. Bottom is wherever Jim Cramer says it is. I guess that's accurate. That's accurate. Yeah, so this is Bitcoin since its drop, right? Kind of similar to Tesla, but a lot of this was just cause it's self-inflicted, you know. If we didn't have, I mean, just think about it, okay? Just think about it. I mean, you could argue we would have gone down anyways because this is the year after, I guess, after the top. But I would argue that we didn't have the top that we should have had in December of 2021. I think we should have gone to 100,000. But the Fed rates and macro stuff just kind of kicked in, right? But if you look at this, you know, we were hovering 30,000s, all right, for a while. Seemed like, you know, we were hanging around, right? And then you get these massive sell-offs right here, right? What caused them? One was tariff collapse. Another was Celsius and Three Arrows collapse. So we have this, and then you have this, okay? Even then, okay, we hit 17K, and then we were climbing back, right? And then what happened? We got FTX, you know, and then everyone else afterwards. I mean, we were doing well, okay, relatively speaking. Obviously, not well compared to our top, but, you know, Bitcoin and crypto was trying to make a comeback. you know, we still had a lot of people buying in. And then, of course, this right here, and then what led to this is all FTX over here, right? So if you argue, and here's the funny thing, maybe not funny, but the irony here is all this could have been traced back to FTX. The Luna's collapse, and then Celsius and Voyager collapse, Three Arrows collapse, everyone's collapse could have all been attributed to SBF and FTX. So if SBF and his compadres never entered the crypto space, you could argue that maybe all this would not be here, and we would still be hovering in the 30s and 40s, and possibly we would have recovered to 50s already. But all this is a contagion that spread arguably from one man, SBF. I think it's going to come out sooner or later that he was the one that popped Luna. He may not have done it on purpose in terms of collapsing them, but back in, you know, May, June timeframe is when it was rumored that, you know, he started playing around with UST and stuff like that, and then obviously that caused a domino effect that he didn't even realize. And unfortunately, here we are. But with that said, at 16.8 or 17,000, right? Just remember, if you doubt yourself, just remember, when in doubt, zoom out. And just remember that in 2020, this is not like 2012. In 2020, Bitcoin hit a low of 3,800. And in 2018, it hit a low of 3,000. Okay, so if you're questioning yourself whether or not Bitcoin is dead and whether or not it'll ever recover, just keep in mind, not too long ago, Bitcoin was at 3,000 or 4,000 or 6,000, and it literally took this long before Bitcoin broke through its previous highs, and then we formed a new high, right? So it took forever. People at this point, people don't realize that 10,000 is right here. Okay, so we were below 10,000 for years. And people made the same argument. We'll never get above 10,000 ever again, right? Because every time we went above 10,000, we dropped right back down, right? But long-term holders, they knew it was going to happen, and they were rewarded. So it's going to be the same thing over again. We may be down for a long time. People will get discouraged because of it, but we will get through it, and we will form a new high eventually. So you got to stay strong. Envy says SBF manipulated BTC's price. Top was 58K roughly. I'd like to know how you got that figure. Do I switch my crypto to a stable coin and put on exchange to cash out? No, you could just sell to USD and cash out. A lot of exchanges allow you to do that. You don't have to switch into a stable coin to cash out. You have to switch to cash out. It's ill here. Hey, George, good to see you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Crypto Stan, 2023 is going to be good. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Yes, it's going to look like this. It takes a while. When you zoom out, it does seem like, yeah, things flip around really quickly. But you got to realize this is on like a year scale. So some of those U's, those green U's, they take years to happen, right? So when you're toward that bottom, near bottom, it seems like you're still not moving, but it's part of recovery. Sometimes the recovery just takes a very, very long time. So I think it's going to start in 2023 and lead into 2024. That's the next halving event. And then the year after 2024 is usually the most bullish year. So that's 2025. So who knows where Bitcoin will be in 2025? 250,000, 300,000, 500,000? It's not too far off. It's not too far away. Do I have any ENS domains? No. I have a few with unstoppable domains, but I haven't put them to good use. Will there ever be anyone hotter than Gina in the Fed chair meeting? Oh, I could argue Kobe's right up there. But it seems to be the same reporters that go to these FOMC meetings every single time. And they're the same reporters that gets to ask the questions. Because there's other reporters there, but they don't get to ask the question. So I don't know who gets to ask and who doesn't. And some of those reporters are actually quite disrespectful. They ask a question and then they don't even look at Powell afterwards, and then they start typing, right? At least some of them have the respect to actually still look at Powell while he's answering. Some of them just like don't even look at him. Do you guys still believe in Cardano? Well, this will answer that question. You have the Cardano Whales, or in this case, maybe sharks, not whales, or whatever. Whales, sharks, they are massively buying Cardano at this point. So, yeah, since June, not even recently, but you could see that huge spike up. They definitely have been accumulating. Edmund, Jordan, I wanted to say that solar makes a lot of sense for some homes. Their entire electric bill can be offset. Oh, I don't disagree with that. You can offset it, but it takes a long time. And that's only if you're just pure solar. If you add in those Tesla battery packs, then the time to recoup is so long. What's the point? Now, I have seen the argument, well, if you need to replace your roof anyways, right, then maybe you could replace the Tesla solar roof instead. Well, I guess so. If you need to spend money and have people up on a roof to do it anyways, then, you know, you save some money there. But solar itself, from what I've seen, the payback is about 8 years. Just the panels themselves. But if you add in the battery packs, then payback is like 16 years or possibly 20 years. And this is with the federal incentives already. So 16 years to 20 years, you're paying your electricity up front for basically 16 years. And then you finally break even after 16 years. Do you really even care at that point? Or you even go stay at the same house at that point? Right? That's all I'm arguing. Battery packs have lifetime. They don't last forever. Yeah, there's that too. I don't even know when you're supposed to replace those Tesla batteries. Well, good to see that Tesla's not selling off like yesterday. Yesterday was brutal, -8% or -9%. Oh, hey, market's turning a little green today. Maybe we have a good Santa rally day. It's still early. Do I jump on Twitter Spaces or do I plan any? I could. I've been staying off Twitter. Twitter is just a toxic waste dump right now. So I'm staying off. I scout the news on Twitter, and that's about it. I don't do anything on Twitter. The money you're spending on electricity is being thrown out the window. So, the same thing for any utility. But you put that toward a solar panel, still, it takes you 8 years to recoup the cost. I mean, I think 8 years is reasonable. I think if it's just pure solar for 8 years is reasonable. But when you have to add the battery packs to 16, it doesn't make sense to me. 8 years, I think it's okay. And I guess if you're in some areas where you get tons of sun, then maybe it's even less than 8 years. Maybe it's like 5 or 6 years. Then I would say, yeah, that's definitely very worth it. But for where I'm living right now, it's probably around 8 years. And adding the battery packs just makes no sense. So you could do solar or partial solar and then get a natural gas power generator. That's the best combination. Mar Ryan says, I have 1.85 BTC. You think it's going to make me wealthy? Someday. Someday. I think Bitcoin can go to 1 million each someday. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a long time. But think about it. If you have 1.85, that makes you a millionaire. Almost a multi-millionaire, right? So I'd say that's pretty good. You're in a pretty good position. Who would you choose to replace Elon on Twitter? I have no idea. Honestly, I don't know who would make a good CEO at Twitter. I have no idea. All the traditional guys I could think of, they're all like tech entrepreneurs, but they're not like Twitter is different. It's more than just tech. It's a social platform. It's also it's also news delivery, right? I mean, and then you throw in, freedom of speech in there. I mean, there's just so much. There's so many layers to Twitter. I don't even know I don't know who would be good at leading it. SBF. SBF. Marco, same to you, my friend. Same to you. A lot of things on a house doesn't make sense. Because I know a lot of you guys know that I'm building a house right now. And I asked a lot of tough questions. And I did a lot of calculations. And a lot of things just don't make a lot of sense. I mean, if you have more money, if you have tons of money to spend, and you really don't care because you just have so much of it, then I guess some things make sense, right? But if you're trying to stay within a budget, there's just so many things that don't make sense. I'll give you another example outside of solar. There's a lot of people that ask me this. What kind of roof are you going to get, right? Just regular asphalt, or you go with a metal one. And there's a new one that's rubber. I guess it's very popular in Canada. You could get rubber. So I'm like, okay, why not look at it? Maybe there are benefits to it. Metal roofs, they look pretty cool. The rubber ones is in between metal and asphalt, right? And then start doing the pricing, like looking at it. And both the metal and the rubber ones cost 5 times as much as normal shingles, asphalt shingles, right? And considering that normal shingles last you, 20 years? So why would you want to upgrade to one of the ones that cost 5 times as much? So a roof that would normally cost $30,000 or $40,000 will now cost $150,000, right? So again, if you had plenty of money with no budget and you just want to blow it all, you can. But if you're doing the math, no one's going to be living there for 150 years. So you might as well just replace your shingles every 30 years or 20 years, right? So again, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't quite make financial sense. Just like solar. No, I take that as I think solar can make financial sense. I think that could actually work out in some places for some people. I have solar driving my Rivian for free. Well, first of all, your Rivian is not free. And second of all, you pay for your solar panels. Jeff Hammer, hey man, same to you. Appreciate you with all your donations. First of all your super chats, and plus being a mod for all these streams. I really do appreciate it. Quinn says, I'm an electrician and solar isn't that good. Look, I'm not trying to spread FUD on solar. I'm just saying from a payback perspective, from an investment standpoint, it takes a while. It takes a while. And equipment also needs to be replaced. But I think it really doesn't make sense when you add in the solar battery, the battery packs. If you don't put in the battery packs, then recouping the cost is much faster. But if you put in the battery packs, it's forget about it. There's no point. Rivians are actually really, I think they're really desperate too. I got sent a link to look at all the Rivians in inventory, and that inventory is building up just as much as Tesla's inventory. So I think a lot of people are just not picking them up right now, canceling their order. Sounds like buying an electric car. Yes, I've done the math on electric cars too. Don't expect to recoup the savings on gas and maintenance with an electric car. You'll never get that back. Buying an electric car, basically, you're just buying the future. You're buying something that does drive better, but very emotionless. So it takes the sound, the feel, everything out of it, right? But for people that are just looking from point A to point B, you could argue is superior, and you're paying for that superiority. That's it. You're not buying an EV car to save on gas. You'll never recoup that ever, with all the upfront costs, and plus electricity isn't free. So don't be buying an EV car thinking that you're saving on gas. No, you could get geothermal furnaces. That's something new I didn't know about. But you can supposedly dig really deep into the ground, and you could pass air through it. And that air deep in the ground is always like at 50 degrees or something. So it helps with heating and cooling. There's upfront cost to that, but I don't know how long it takes to recoup. But that is an option basically anywhere, I think. Will never give up my AMG for EV. F that. Well, I think that's true for a lot of people. If you're a car guy, it's going to be a really tough transition to EV. Like if you really enjoy exhaust, you enjoy shifting, you enjoy, the vibrations of a gas-powered engine, you're not going to like moving to EV. Any plans for our strap-on NFT utility? It's all going to be for the conference. GeorgeCon, whenever that can be held. Hopefully 2024. I got to pick a good year, not 2023, but I could start planning 2023 for 2024. Florida is the best place to live. I don't know. Maybe. Miami's nice. Orlando, obviously, is all Walt Disney. You know, I wouldn't want to live in Orlando. It's all tourists, 24/7. There's no insurance discount on EVs. My Tesla doesn't cost any cheaper to insure versus my gas-powered cars. So no, I don't think that's legit. No gas station visits. Okay, I'll give you that. No emissions, parts to replace. I mean, you're talking about over 100,000 miles before you have to worry about those things. No oil changes. I'll give you that. The cost savings. I mean, yeah, to recoup stuff back, you're paying more for the EV car, right? You know that, right? It's not like you're buying a Tesla for $20,000. So, you know, the large upfront cost of an EV car versus a gas powered car, plus if you have to pay for a plug to be installed in your house, plus if you have to buy a charger for your house, you add all that together, you'll never recoup the cost. It'll take you like 20 years to. And by then, you would have sold your car already. Yeah, and then there are some places where it's very, very inconvenient to go to with an EV car because there's no supercharger stations around. No stations at all, right? Especially if you want to go into, I don't know, you want to go in the mountains, or you want to go in the forest, and you want to go in the desert. You want to go somewhere where it's more outdoors, less tourists, and just you want to, you know, go to a cabin or stay somewhere, right? You're kind of screwed with the EV because you're not going to have a station for like 100 miles away. All right, I've been rambling on a lot. This is the type of stream I plan on doing maybe Saturday night on my other channel, I Am George. Just general chat about everything. So stay tuned for that. But as for today, hey, Tesla's coming back up. Yay. Yay. It's very, very oversold. The entire market is coming up. Bitcoin is coming up a little bit. Crypto's coming up. Maybe we're going to get that Santa rally the very last day. Well, crypto, you know, we still have a few more days, but for U.S. markets, let's see. But overall, guys, 2023, I think it's going to be a much better year. 2022 has been brutal, but you don't want to miss out on this. All right. Have a good day, guys. Happy Friday. Not streaming tonight, not streaming tomorrow or Sunday. I'm going to take a little break. But I'll still put out some videos for you guys, and I'll try to stream Saturday night. Maybe, no promises. If I do, it'll be in my other channel, but I'll let you guys know. All right, have a Merry Christmas. See you guys. Bye-bye.